Hi, I'm Todd Talbot. Welcome to our kitchen. I'm going to take you on a little behind the scenes tour of how the kitchen works. You know, a look under the hood. Let's start with our beautiful Fisher and Paykel range. It's Fisher and Paykel, like Michael. Very important. I practiced all day. So this is the classic series, and really, you know, we started with style. We wanted to choose something that we thought integrated well into this particular kitchen. So a classic kind of look, but with a little nod to contemporary features. This comes in 3 different colors: white, stainless, and black. And for the longest time, we chose the white one, and then at the very last minute, we called Sylvia and said, I think we should change to the stainless, which they accommodated, and I think it was the right choice. One of the other elements that we love is the fact that it's super flush to the depth of the counter here, so it's kind of seamless, but it still is, you know, like a little jewel in the middle of this countertop space. So this is an induction range, which is different than the old style glass top, which was radiant, and it is super easy to clean. Our previous stove was actually gas, and you gotta lift off those things and kind of scrub around underneath it, and it's not fun to do. This is super easy to clean because anything that spills onto it doesn't actually burn on the glass top, as opposed to the other ones where you're like scrubbing and then taking a razor blade and trying to scrape off all that stuff. I remember as a child in my house doing that. Not fun. With induction, 90% of the heat or the energy is going into the cooking, so into the pot. You're only losing 10%, which means that the requirement for ventilation is much lower. With this range, there's not a lot of venting requirement. It's 90% efficient, so you're only losing 10% into the air. So we chose a recirculating hood fan, so very low profile under here, and then it actually recircs through a charcoal filter, 2 charcoal filters actually, and then back into the space. Let me show you what the charcoal filter looks like. That's what it is. So it goes in there, there's these beads inside. If you're having a party, you could also use this in a pinch. Multi-purpose. Of course, safety is an important feature. Induction, it's really only heating when the pot is on there. So if you take the pot off, it's safe to the touch. It's also not gonna burn anything if you leave the element on, and not to throw anyone under the bus in my family, but there's been a few times I've come back and the element is on. The pot is in the sink, but it has been left on, and with induction, it's totally safe. It actually shuts itself off. So that's pretty cool. We got teenagers, and you know, my wife might forget from time to time. Sorry, Rebecca. You get influenced by your parents, even at my age. And my mom's a great cook, and she has Fisher and Paykel in her kitchen. And one of the things that I've always loved is these roll-out racks. They're so cool. Anyway, that's just a little side note. Thanks, Mom. Okay, let's talk about the fridge. The coolest feature. No pun intended. This is countertop depth, so it's fully integrated into the cabinetry, panel ready. We've got the walnut panels, both on the French doors, as well as on the fridge below. We also found these custom walnut handles, so everything disappears. I mean, everyone knows how fridges work. This is a French door style with freezer on the bottom. A couple things I love about it, especially in the freezer, is they've got this little thin drawer, so you can put thin things right there. So you're not digging through to try and find stuff. It also has a little ice maker down there with a little boost. So if you're short on ice, you can hit that and it'll produce ice 30% faster. So if you're really thirsty, that's a great feature. So not to get too nerdy, but it has an active smart system where it can actually evaluate how often you're opening and closing the door, and it adjusts to the humidity and the amount that you're using it. So if you're using it a lot, it's adjusting to calibrate to that. And then if you're away on vacation, it also knows that you're not opening and closing the door, and it adjusts. So another sneaky little appliance is the dishwasher. We chose the Fisher & Paykel 2-drawer dishwasher, which they're the only brand that makes that, and we wanted to try it. My parents have it as well. Again, thanks, Mom. It's a great system. We love it. It's one of the best choices we made. You can actually load the top, and then have the bottom ready and available, so you kind of have this cycle going on. You can actually run more small cycles, and it takes just a little bit of soap. So very cool. Everyone in the family likes it. It's also integrated, so panel ready, so it integrates into the cabinetry, which is pretty cool. It's also super quiet, so much so that you close the door and then I have to like listen for a second to make sure it's actually running. The guys who came to install it actually showed me a feature that I was not aware of, that, you know, when you close the 2-drawer system, it locks. So if you needed to stop the cycle for some reason, you actually have to knock on the door and basically ask permission. You have to speak nicely before it will stop as well. Picking appliances can be tricky. Honestly, we went into Midland Appliance and were drawn to the Fisher Paykel range first and foremost because I think it looks sexy. So, you know, aesthetic plays a big part. Integration with the fridge and the dishwasher were important. And then of course, it needs to be quality and function really well. And that's, you know, we relied on Midland Appliance and Sylvia to kind of walk through some of the features and make sure that all of those features kind of fit with the way that we wanted to live and how we were going to operate in our kitchen. So those two things need to marry together. Also, I get little bits of information that I didn't know before, like the warming drawer or knocking on the dishwasher to open it up mid-cycle, or the boost for the ice maker. So all of that's fantastic, and I really love the Fisher Paykel brand. I hope you enjoyed the little tour. Thanks for watching. If you got any questions, someone from Midland will answer below.